As is tradition with most podcasts, as soon as you hit record, as soon as you sit down in your seat, the neighbor is cutting down their tree with a chainsaw.
How many trees do they have?
They've got quite a bunch.
A bunch, you say?
Quite a few. I'm not sure how many they're cutting down, but I got that going on to my right. There are realtors.
Cool. We got some ambulances on this end, so we are in urban areas, to say the very least. There are goings-on going on.
They're selling the duplex unit that I live in, so the realtors and the landlord are next door, pounding on walls. I don't know what they could possibly be checking.
You trying to get an apartment ready without pounding on the walls? Are you kidding me? You want to do the job right. You start pounding on stuff, and then cover everything in white paint, and then
sell it for too much.
Right. Spend the security deposit as soon as you get it, and come up with a reason not to give it back later.
Sounds about right.
We should get it. We should become landlords, quite frankly. I think we just figured it out. A eureka moment, if there ever was one. For those looking for, we'll do more of a journal entry type thing maybe next episode, but this is in the midst of our transition in the race to 100 episodes when Reminiscent will become more of a music pop culture thing, or a glance back a la our Hanson and My Chemical Romance episodes. Today we are going to be debating Taking Back Sunday albums, and Tom and I, per usual, fall on different parts of that spectrum. But I want to go through and start by saying that I just want to hear Tom, why don't you give us one of those classic first time I heard him stories, huh? Why don't we start off soft? Something easy, something simple, something friendly. Give the people what they want.
First time I heard, I'm not super sure about first time when it comes to
let's end it. The show's over. We picked a bad topic. It's done. This is bad. Everything's bad, quite frankly. Few things are good, if any. And the fact that things are bad means that we should stop. No, I'm just kidding. I would say that I got into a big debate with Mr. B, our old English teacher in high school, talking about where you want to be and Tell All Your Friends. Tell All Your Friends being their debut album, I believe.
Yes.
Debut full album.
2002.
Yeah, I think he was debating the merit of Louder Now versus Where You Want to Be, and Adam Solarsky and I were like, you know how in movies, older women clutch their pearls when the offbeat person enters the fancy party. They're like, "Oh my stars!" That was such blasphemous material just because Where You Want to Be had. I think it's just what we were super into at the time.
Yeah.
I think one of the songs made our senior video.
It did.
Only 7 people in the audience enjoyed it, but it is what it is. Join the AV Club if you want to make those types of changes. But he was like, "Hey, Louder Now is good." And it's not that it's bad, it's just easily third. Can we at least start there is what I want. Those would be the top 3 Taking Back Sunday albums, and Louder Now is in a firm, respectable third. As you can consider it a good album, right? Is that being too crazy?
I mean, to me, that's like saying American Idiot is Green Day's best album when they had Dookie, right? There's just no contest.
It's almost like they're just too different. You know what I mean? They're too different. And you could say that Tell All Your Friends and Where You Want to Be are two different bands almost.
Yeah.
It's just they get more and more polished as they go through, and by the time they get to Louder Now, it's not that it's a different band per se, but it's I don't know, it's just different. What got me about Taking Back Sunday when I first heard them was first came the really long song titles with Fall Out Boy and Brand New, right. And then came the really stupid overly poetic lyrics. When I first heard Taking Back Sunday, I was like, this is bad.
No,
good? I can't tell. There's just a lot going on. And then All Time Low came out and took that to a poppy, weird, overly poetic level. And I was like, all right, we're trying too hard here. It's just how far we stray from the Lord's Light, right? Where one bourbon, one shot, one beer. And 20 years later, people are like, Harlequin girls and Harlequin boys. It's just the just happened, people singing about discotheques and shit. It's there has been some drastic changes in the past 25 years. And, it was definitely a lot to chew on, especially post, I don't know, Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Just small worded pop punk from San Diego, definitely not too many overarching themes there other than, you get the idea. Anyway, so Taking Back Sunday falls into the pre-All-Time Low moderately. You could consider them douchey lyrics. The first fight I got into about their lyrics was the first track off Tell All Your Friends, which is the album I'll be vouching for on this episode. So sick of being tired, so tired of being sick. And the first person I listened to that with was like, oh, dude, dope, And the second person was just like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. He just said the same thing backwards. This isn't music. But so I just want to hear your thoughts. I just kind of wanted to set up the episode real quick because I know we're both on time constraints today for work purposes. So that's kind of the primer. And yeah, I'll pass the mic to you, my good man.
Yeah, I think that line is really just overplayed. You see so many privileged middle class people on Facebook saying, so sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Like that's just what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Counterpoint, it's one of the most classic lines of early 2000s music.
Right.
If it is the album I'm vouching for, I'm going to sit firmly in that camp and be like, that's a hell of a way to start an album. It comes out, as we like to say on the show, you could say that it bops or it snaps or it low-key slaps, but it brings the fucking thunder and it sets a tone early.
Oh, yeah.
Early. Yeah.
No, it's a good jam. That's
Every song on that album is called Cut from the Team, in parentheses, cute without the E.
Yeah, You Know How I Do comes out just blazing. We're talking about Tell All Your Friends, right?
We are indeed.
Okay.
And that was a joke, what I just said. Not all of the songs are named that. That's only one of the tracks, I believe, track 3. But we will get there soon.
So one of my earlier memories of Taking Back Sunday, I know that a lot happened before this point, but I was in your backyard with Adam Stolarski, who was the 4th member of our high school band with the name we shall never repeat.
Sure. The Voldemort boys. So Adam was the type of guy that so he really got me into the beef between them and Brand New, where is a thing that existed. And if you had to rank music beefs, it would be like Tupac, it would be like Dre, Eazy-E probably in the top 5, Biggie, Tupac, all that, right? And then the weird spat between Jesse Lacey, who had slept with Adam,
Lazara.
What's his name? Yeah, Lazara's sister or some crap. And they were like, They're Taking Back Sunday t-shirts were like, mics are for singing, not for swinging. Right. That was the Brand New shirt where it was actually what I thought was a cool performance thing that the Taking Back Sunday guy would swing the mic. It was like something, you can only do so many different things if you have a 4-piece band, right? And he added definitely a visual element to his performing. But Adam had that shirt, even though he liked both bands.
Right.
Right. But, yeah, so goofy, douchey, weird early 2000s, nothing emo beefs would rank maybe in the 60s if we're going all the way in ranking beefs.
Quick aside before I get back to it. Do you remember when Cha-Cha was a thing? You would text questions to 242-242?
Ooh, kind of, yeah.
And I asked what the beef between them was, and the response was, there's no beef. They're adults. They grew up and got over it. And I was like, damn. That was rude.
I saw a quote maybe in a magazine thing maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I just saw it recently where I think it was just basically like Adam Lazara was like, I don't know. I just don't really like the guy. I just don't think he's a good person. It's just like, it was not really beef centric. It was just like, he's bad. And then all the Me Too stuff came out about Jesse Lacey, and it was like, so he must have seen some stuff on Warped Tours and stuff that we were not seeing as fans. But anywho, back to Taking Back Sunday.
Right. So my first memory, the 4th time, we'll get into this. I was having an argument with Adam Stolarski at a campfire at your house. We were maybe 15 or 16. And we were talking about this photograph as proof. And there's that part where he sings, you see, it's never been enough to just leave and give up, or to leave all you gave up or whatever. And he does those like kind of high notes and it's kind of squeaky and scratchy. And I was like, oh, it sounds terrible. And Adam's like, what are you talking about? It sounds amazing. And we could just not let it go. Like we could not stop until the other person saw our side. And I was like, there's no way. Like, why didn't they redo those takes? That was such a high budget production. Why didn't they just redo it? And it was just such a weird, heated argument over absolutely nothing. It wasn't even like which album is better. It was just like, do you think those notes sounded good?
Right. There's a giant sub portion of this whole Taking Back Sunday thing where you have to ask, is Adam Lazara a talented vocalist? And I could hear compelling arguments for either side and be like, hey, they're right, guys. I mean, they didn't get that famous unless that dude could wail in some kind of weird, relatable way. But also, I could see the other side that was just like, I don't know, boys were straightening their hair and shit in 2004. It was just like a weird time, and it was bad, right? I mean, it was very screechy at times. Like, his range was possibly 0, despite his attempts to make noises past a regular G or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I could hear both on any given day, or like as soon as I was done with the Netflix stock on the topic, I'd be like, "Wow, they nailed it. That's bad." Or "Yeah, wow, they nailed it. That was. I mean, that dude. You know, he had something. I don't know what it is, but there's an it factor there." So. I don't know. So what do you think? Good or bad? Adam Lazzara as a vocalist?
Good on the records. He wasn't very good live, for sure. But he was also really active. You know, he was climbing lighting rigs and swinging by his feet upside down with a microphone tied around his throat. How good can he
their
be?
T-shirt? So funny. Maybe not funny, but, you know, mics are for singing, not for swinging. And then was the brand new shirt. And their response shirt, or this might have come before, was the mic wrapped around his neck with blood dripping from the cord on like a light blue shirt. Like it was a print. The shirt was a print of a mic, and there was a bunch of cord wraps around where the neck area hole was for the T-shirt, as if you know, because he used to like to swing it around his body and things like that. So just weird, just a weird time, man. Like what a weird decade, and oddly dangerous for the youth, if we actually want to look at it from a standpoint. Which brings us to the third track of "Tell All Your Friends," cut from the team. I think they changed the title of the song because it was just called "Cut" or "Cute Without the E" or whatever.
So "Cute Without the E," the line, "Will you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head?" My band covered that song. It was a very popular cover of ours. But I remember on MySpace doing the MySpace angles in my bedroom, putting little finger guns to my head, making a face like, "Well, this is it," with the caption, "And will you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head?" And I was like, dude, I'm so edgy. I'm the fucking edgelord right now. And my mom being like, "Thomas, knock it off." I'm sure I can find that picture somewhere, dude.
I'm just picturing like the drunk history version of you in your room at that scene, like it's an important scene in your life. Be like, "Look, I'm edgy. I'm pretty edgy." You know, like someone pausing, breaking character and looking at the camera like, "God, I don't think I could be much edgier. I'm pretty edgy right now." And I believe it. And it felt that way because, yeah. I don't know. I remember the first time my dad heard "Tell All Your Friends" in the car, he was like, "I'm not, what?" Yeah, he was definitely on team "This is bad." But
So, I mean, "Tell All Your Friends" had some bangers, but...
Well, let's say this. Which album has the better beginning? Because I think "Where You Want to Be" has the better ending, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I guess my argument here is like, if we're album to album, I think "Tell All Your Friends" has easily the better start. There's a different tone that's set with kind of a smoother beginning of "Where You Want to Be," which is the whole point of what makes it different and also better, but it comes right out of the gate like the... I don't know. It's just... I would argue it has a stronger start.
Definitely. I don't think "Set Phasers to Stun," which is track number 1 on "Where You Want to Be," is good, but it's definitely not as explosive, and I don't think it's one of their better songs. Like, I would have started the album with "A Decade Under the Influence."
Yeah, I almost, when I would listen to it, would start it at there, or "I Am Fred Astaire" almost. I think now, man, I'm talking myself into being on team "Where You Want to Be" because it has easily the middle third and later third wrapped up. Like once you start getting into "I Am Fred Astaire."
Oh yeah, 180 by Summer. I mean, 180 by Summer, Little Devotional.
I'm going to say that 180 by Summer is the best Taking Back Sunday song
of all time.
That's tough because I don't know if that's like diving too deep. Because what's the one where it's like the one with the Flavor Flav music video?
Oh yeah.
Because that's probably like their hit, better song, right? But as a fan of the band, it's almost like 180 by Summer has, if you're like wanting to feel 7th grade emotions, 7th through 9th grade approximately, or 11th, whatever, and it actually is summer, right? And just the way that thing finishes, "My Best Side Was My Worst Invention" or something like that. I don't know. It's lyrically probably where they're at their peak, both in terms of, I don't know. Talk me out of this. I'm digging myself into a hole that I can't really explain myself out of.
Well, both those songs have the word "summer" in it, which is funny. "I Am Fred Astaire" was my... So when I started college, we had to assign ourselves email addresses, and the instructions explicitly said just use your name, and I didn't see that. So my college email address was iamfredastaire@ai.edu.
Which is an ambitious art school name.
So they're like, "All right, I am Fred Astaire. What's your name? Fred Astaire? No? Okay." Yeah, I mean, Where You Want to Be is one of my top 10 for sure albums of all time. It might rank at like 6 or 7.
Wow, so it's just missing. We almost talked about this on the Desert Island episode. Then.
Which we might need to do a retake of that because things have changed. But like, and if you think of, I mean, Fred Mascherino, who is the guitarist and the backup vocalist, added so much character and depth to this band that they didn't have in Tell All Your Friends. I mean, there were some good songs in Tell All Your Friends, but the way that I think about...
He was in the band for that, or wasn't he? Or is Louder Now and Where You Want to Be the same guitarist?
Yeah, Fred Mascherino.
Side guitarist? Who's the dude that was on Louder Now?
Fred Mascherino.
Okay,
he was
who
in
was
both.
The dude that was... Okay, so the dude from Where You Want to Be went off to make Straylight Run after Tell All Your Friends?
I have no idea. Fred eventually
That's
left.
an important distinction because he added a distinctly different backup vocal sound.
Well, no, Fred Mascherino ended up leaving and starting The Color Fred.
Right, yeah. He
after
was like,
Louder Now.
He was like the cleaner replacement for whoever that first guy was. I'm going to look it up.
Anyways, the music videos for Where You Want to Be are hilarious. I think it seemed like everyone was having a good time. Matt, their bassist, was super short, and they always made jokes about just how short he was, which I thought was hilarious.
Would it have been John Nolan?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Because this is a discussion also about Fred Mascherino has very clean, it was almost like who Adam was geared off of, like who wanted to like style his career after, like very good backup vocals, very clean guitar playing, where John Nolan adds like definitely almost another voice in the background that you could argue is either fundamentally bad or fundamentally good. But it's kind of like Weezer Blue and Pinkerton, right? Matt Sharp would just kind of make boop-boo noises and stuff, and you're like, what the frick is going on? And he would like pretend he was Led Zeppelin on stage playing bass for a 4-piece that mostly stood still. And I was like, this is really weird, but those are their 2 better albums. And then, they replaced him with a clean guy who could play his instrument well and sing a little better, but did the music and did the spirit ultimately leave? I think you have a similar situation here where John Nolan added a little third heat or second heat, if you will, I guess, and is why Tell All Your Friends hits harder for me, I guess, just to give you some perspective as to where I'm coming from as like the overall album and feel you get from it. I don't know. There's something polished about Fred where I could see why people would want to defend Tell All Your Friends is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think he has a better voice, and I just think the style itself, I'm surprised that you seem to like it as much as you do because it was much more like aggressive and angsty for the genre. I don't think the lyrics were quite there.
There was like a couple days of the week bands that came out, like Thursday and Taking Back Sunday. And like Taking Back Sunday was like your introduction into like, and then you were like, oh, Thursday, I'll listen to them. And you're like, oh my God, like, aren't they somebody's sons? You know what I mean? Like, who's their mothers and why are they letting them do this to people? But this is like a little almost tamer, I don't know, basement, slashy, goofy, emotional dumbness. I don't even know what the subgenre would be, but yeah, it is a little heavier, a little rougher around the edges, but I don't know. I like it. I'm not a one-dimensional man, Tom.
Okay. So that's not what I've
Also, for the sake of the show, I'm going to die on this hill just for the listeners. I hope you're enjoying yourself. You son of a bitch. Because Where You Want to Be, it bobs and it snaps and it low-key slaps. But yeah, so it's the stronger ending. Let's walk through the title track, let's walk through the tracks starting at I Am Fred Astaire or wherever you would want to start and how strong that album finishes, track by track, Where You Want to Be, that is.
So I Am Fred Astaire starts side 2 on the LP for Where You Want to Be.
Okay.
I think that's a really good divide on the album. I mean, for them, it's just amount of time. But I guess they put them in that order for a reason. I think that it really... I feel like the songs really work together chronologically. I Am Fred Astaire just kind of shifting the tone, especially after the brief interlude in New American Classic, the really nice acoustic song.
Which I didn't like that song so much. Everyone was like, dude, they slowed it down and it hits. It doesn't. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I would start after that and treat it as like a shorter, half an album usually.
I remember being on a forum in like 2000 and I don't know, 5 or 6, whenever this album was relatively new. And someone saying that like they just hated that song, and they're like, oh, it's just Fred Mascherino trying to flex, trying to prove that he's capable of being in this band and like trying to prove himself, and like just hated that song. And I could not understand it. I remember being again dating the album here, being in the computer room in my house.
Yeah, everyone had a computer room, man.
And
what else would you call it? We didn't have any like fancy term like kitchen, right? It wasn't like oven room. We were just like, this is a new device. I'm not really sure what to do with it or where to put it, but this is the room where it is. And it's clear by the name.
So I think I was actually writing a paper for your aunt's class. Your aunt, Miss Holmes, taught, was it 10th grade English or something?
Yeah, her and Mr. B were, she did the AP stuff and he did the non-AP English, I believe, for 10th grade.
So I was in the smart kid class, right? In the AP class. Writing a paper.
And when I had him, let the record show, I had him for fiction writing.
Right. Later on, yeah. And you plagiarized the Canterbury Tales and put your friends' names in it and got away with it for most of the year?
Was it the Things They Carried or Canterbury Tales? Was it the one instance where I tried to pull off? Like, there was definitely a heavy workload at that school. And, what's weird is I took this structure for the chapter of the Things They Carried and I directly applied it to a story that was oddly similar to something I had growing up. And though it was for sure the wrong thing to do, like I'm not going to defend that. It was actually a story that happened to me, but Abby Bowler started laughing halfway through because she was reading along with the actual chapter. Like I had arrived at school that day and it was like this big project that was due the next period. So I freaked out and I just like got something technically completed, which was pretty much typing out almost word for word a chapter from the Things They Carried. But it was about Ryan Bresky wearing a Gecko Hawaii shirt to the park a lot when we were kids. I forget how it ended, but I got in trouble. Lost a lot of respect. Mr. B lost a lot of respect for me that day for sure. He was almost mad at himself that he didn't recognize it. He was like, oh. And it's the ultimate, like, don't even look at me right now. Like, just leave. I'm like, oh, no.
So.
Anyway, then we filmed a spoof of The Office, and I don't know if he won his favor back, but he gave us a B, which was fair.
So yeah, I remember anyway writing a paper for your aunt's class, and this album was just kind of playing in the background. It was still kind of new to me, and I remember it was just kind of background noise, and once it got to the build up in New American Classic, I remember stopping what I was doing and being like, oh my God, like it just totally hit me. And I like looked up iTunes and New American Classic. And for some reason, for a while, I thought it was called New American Anthem or something. So I called it by the wrong name for like way too long. But dude, I don't know, man. It blows me away. The guitar is really cool. Back then I was learning how to play acoustic, so it was fun to play along with that. And I don't know, man. It was just nice to hear like a slower song. And I guess everyone's kind of doing that now where they'll throw an acoustic song, which sounds just like a normal other song, but they play it like an acoustic version. So this was a nice change with like violins and, the whole build at the end. I don't know. It was good, but it definitely was a good separation because I'm Fred Astaire comes in, hits super hard. 180 by Summer. What? That song is crazy. Number 5 with a Bullet, I feel like, if that was moved, maybe if you even opened with that and shuffled some stuff around, because I would love I'm Fred Astaire, 180 by Summer, Little Devotional, and then end with Slowdance On the Inside. That would be the greatest run of 4 songs in the history of the world, I think.
Oh, dude, number 5 with the Bullet's one of the strongest ones in the lineup. Also, quick aside, if you don't mind, number 5 with the Bullet might be one of the better movie references I got years later from early 2000s music because they were like in their 20s watching Wes Anderson movies and stuff. But number 5 with the Bullet comes from High Fidelity with John Cusack and Jack Black and those folks, which is a great movie. Didn't age super well, I guess, but that's a different argument or episode, really. Anyway, the Fall Out Boy one that comes to mind, though, is... Oh, no, Sick Transit, Glory Fades by Brand New is one from Rushmore by Wes Anderson. I thought there was a Fall Out Boy one, and I regret even going on this aside because that was one of the better examples. But number 5 with the Bullet was one of those things where you listen to this music by these 22-year-old artists when you're 16, and then when you watch the same movies every other 22-year-old does, you're like, Sick Transit, Glory Fades. You're just like, that's fucking from that thing. OMG, But It was number 5 with a bullet when I first thought. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, dude, don't get me wrong. It's a great song. I just wish it was moved up to because,
dude, it might have the better starting first song lyrics than the opening track for Tell All Your Friends. We're gonna die like this, you know, miserable and old. Really got to hand it to you. I don't know. It's just like,
it's pretty good.
Twist the knife while you're in there. Jesus
it's pretty
Christ,
good.
You know, it's like, oh God. Looking back, definitely melodramatic. I think would be a one word to describe this band. When you're 17, it sings, man. It hits. It's damn.
Yeah, so it should have
just
opened.
Get dressed, don't do this, like super daytime.
If you if you had to rearrange this album, do you have an order you would put it in?
Oh God, dude. I don't know the ending. So the ending song, "This Glass House is Burning Down." You light the match, I'll stick around.
So good. But does glass burn?
All the feels, man. It's the one that we used in the senior video.
Yeah, that's how we ended the senior video. Slowdance on the Inside.
We turned around after because we had spent like 2 weeks editing it, and we used "Going Away to College" by Blink on it, and all that. You know what I mean? All that stuff, of course.
Yeah.
And granted, this was an era in which Soulja Boy had just released their famous track. So it was a different time in music, quite frankly. But I remember turning around after Slowdance on the Inside played for all these photos. And I turned around, like 10 people maybe of the 130 were like kind of crying like, oh God. And everyone else had mouths agape like, I can't believe I paid $10 to have a meal here. Like, this is the worst dinner I've ever been to.
There's like me, Adam, Mike Murphy, Mark Snyder, just like all singing and like air
just like
drumming.
Standing like, oh yeah, you know. It was just, everyone else was like, all right, yeah, sure.
Okay, what's this emo music? Oh, there was also an argument with Adam Stolarski again about...
Dude, we should have honestly invited him on to do this episode.
So the song Slowdance on the Inside, it's ... Slowdance on the Inside. And his argument was that in the song, it says, cross my heart and hope to, and he never finishes the sentence. So he thought that was interpreted as and hope to ... and then followed up a slow dance on the inside. So he thought that the phrase itself was cross my heart and hope to slow dance on the inside. And everyone was just like, what? That doesn't even make sense. And he's like, no, guys, really think about it. And he was like pushing so hard for this crazy fan theory.
I never heard that. I like it a lot. And I love that he was passionate about it.
So passionate.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I would love to unpack that. I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it and listen to this song again. But also probably not. But I don't know. I want to hear I want to hear the full theory. I'm not gonna shoo it away yet. And I still feel bad for not going to Adam's wedding in Erie.
I wasn't even invited.
Well, hey, there you go.
We were only bandmates for 6 years, but so remember I was telling you
there's some stuff that sounds like it needs to be unpacked there, but I don't know if we have the time today.
Remember I was telling you on the My Chemical Romance episode that my mom always like had these crazy interpretations for what bands we're talking about. Like, what does Linkin Park
it's
mean?
One of the best parts of doing this show is hearing your mom's take. We hear our own takes every week, but I definitely want to hear this.
So I was listening to Little Devotional in the car on a Burn CD, and I forget what song it was, but it always skipped at this one part, and it just skipped like half a second in the first song. And I remember the first time I torrented their whole discography and there was no skip, I was like, I don't even know this song anymore. Like, it just seemed like so weird. But anyways, so in Little Devotional, they say, I said I'm going to have myself in shambles. I didn't know this was the line. Phone your folks. They're up and looking for some answers. My mom was like, does that mean they're having sex? They were caught having sex? And I was like, what the fuck?
It's either sex, drugs, or rock and roll. And you better tell me what the version of either of those three things it is right now.
It's like, why are your folks looking for answers? What is that band doing? As if I know their story or like, and that's what we said.
Probably
like,
because they haven't been home for a while. What I'm hearing is they're still teens in this song,
right?
And their parents are probably worried about where they are, or some dumb suburbia crap like that. Like, these weren't very high stakes. Again, if we're talking about like important stuff. Like this isn't Biggie singing a song called Ready to Die. Like these are kids in the suburbs who like are out past curfew. Like the stakes could not be lower. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the opening line of the song.
Just get dressed, don't do this. You know,
the opening line of the song is, well, I'm blowing smoke out of your window and you're slipping back into your dress.
Right. I mean,
So-
looking back at the whole My Chemical Romance, I'm Not Okay music video, these dudes are in private school uniforms, smoking out of their parents' windows, trust fund vacationers at the age of 7 and all that. So, again, were they thrashing around in basements and did they put the work in? The people in the band themselves, yes. But was the fan base probably idiot high school kids? Yeah, I think you could make that argument for the majority of the fan base.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I guess my mom was right in both cases. They are talking about sex, and My Chemical Romance is about drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Actually, she's a cleric, dude. We should have her on for like a segment or something. Shout out to Kathleen if you're listening.
Although Linkin Park is quite innocuous, but so she missed on that one. But you know,
well,
hey man, a 66 batting average or whatever is
for baseball, that's real good.
that's real good. You're killing
That's
it.
a good 3-point shooting percentage in basketball.
Yeah,
It's an
dude.
all right completion percentage if you're a quarterback in football.
Yeah, dude.
depending on
Sports
the
are
offense you're trying to
just
run.
the coolest. I love them.
They are the best.
So Louder Now, I remember blasting this album at your house when we did our 24-hour Toy Story 2 on PlayStation 1 marathon.
Toy Story 2 on PlayStation 2. Yeah.
What's your impression of Louder Now? I remember also being stunned. I think Louder Now in Miami is the first time they swore in any of their albums. They say Miami, damn me. And
Ooh.
just
Turn
thinking
up the
like,
heat, my
I
good
wasn't
man. Turn
offended by
up
swearing.
the effing heat.
I was never offended by swearing, but just being like, oh wow, is that the first time? You know? It's
Also, you sure it was Fred Mascherino on Where You Want to Be? Can you Google that while I talk about Louder Now for a second?
I'm looking at it right now.
Cool. Well, hey, all right. Glass house is burning down. Dreams getting shattered right here in my bedroom. What are you going to do? Anyway, okay, Louder Now. What's it feel like to be a ghost is terrific.
Rips.
It rips.
Yeah.
Liar is a strong number 2 track.
Great
Make
music
Damn
video.
Sure was...
Ooh.
Are you ready for a hot take?
It was, yeah.
Or are you going to deliver it? Because I know we have the same thought.
Give it to me.
Louder Now is not the first or second best album by that band.
Okay.
But Make Damn Sure is their best song.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is what you came here for, everybody. This is the big reveal. Minute 35. That Make Damn Sure might have been better than some of the other ones.
It's a good one. Their
We're
music-
talking like the other two are concept albums or something. They're like super not. Like they're not like works of, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say Make Damn Sure. Their music videos were getting pretty highly produced and dumb. Flavor Flav was long gone from the music videos. And that thing where you would grab your foot and try to jump in between the hole it made with the other foot. I used to do that a lot, which is tough to do in skate shoes. But anyway...
You don't tie those things
Make
very
Damn
tight.
Sure, just
do
like
you?
a lot of slow motion nature crap, and it was dumb, and they were getting older and more polished, even more polished.
I actually watched like a mini documentary on the making of that music video and how they wanted the dichotomy of destruction and then like beautiful
Oh, is
nature.
that what they were going for when they showed a flower and then a tiger ripping into it?
Shut up. So they took like stock video, like that explosion, and then it fades into the ballerina dancing, And
Yes. Because
I
I think what they were trying to go for there was like more of a destruction thing, but then there's beauty also, but like interchange. You know what I mean? Like splice them.
is that
I'm sorry.
is that what
That
you're-
is so directly mean to the word rate. Like
So I think like they were going for something kind of cool, but just like the way that it was spliced into like a performance video was a little bit lazy.
right. So if you picture that Blink music video where they throw all their money off the roof, and those are the cut shots in between them being in like a
The rock
garage.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. They did the garage band thing, but it wasn't a cool other thing that they wasted their money on. It was just stock footage. And stock footage always looks like stock footage. Like you're singing about, it's like your best song and you just, I don't know this snake. I don't know why this snake's hungry. I don't know why it's eating this egg. This is just, there's like a different story going on with this snake and lion and flower and ballerina. And just like, I don't know, do better. That's all. That's all.
But yeah, again, a very, very good song. I like the part where he kind of collapses going into the last chorus, which if you're familiar with drag competitions, the death drop is now a popular move. And I would like to credit Adam Lazzara for making its way into the drag community.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Really? Like they address and accept like that it has been noted and written about?
No, I'm saying that now.
Oh, okay. Well,
the rest of this album is super good. My Blue Heaven is fantastic, obviously. 2020 Surgery, I don't know, man. Spin has a cool guitar.
I like that better than Miami 2020
Yeah,
Surgery.
Miami's not great, but then you get to Error Operator. Damn. That's a banger.
Sounds like you're saying this is their second best album, Tom. This is dangerous territory, my man.
It might be.
Oh.
Like I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of of Tell All Your Friends as a whole. But I'm a huge fan of some of the songs on it.
She said, "Duh."
Yeah.
Come on, man. Have a heart.
Oh, that's good. I saw
recency bias, as in that's the latest thing we talked about. You gotta,
no.
Tell All Your Friends has to be better than Louder Now. It has to be.
I think it's really funny in the production of Tell All Your Friends, which did sell over 1 million copies worldwide. It was actually their best-selling album. It just goes downhill dramatically.
It's pretty green. The grass is green over here on the Tell All Your Friends side of things.
So,
even though at the end of this episode I'm going to say, so which is the best? I think we've concluded that Where You Want to Be is the best work.
If you listen really closely to Tell All Your Friends, listen to parts right before Adam starts singing. You can hear this like high-pitched squealing coming from the microphone that goes in and out. And I didn't hear it for a long time until I got into music production. But if you listen to it, it's super distracting. And that really bothers me too. Because you can hear this super high-pitched squealing a second before he starts singing. And it totally throws me off. Have you listened at all to New Again or Self-Titled or anything that came after that?
Only the song Sink Into Me, which I like that song.
I was driving my mom's car through my old neighborhood when I was home for summer one day, and that I just had the radio on because I didn't have any CDs or whatever. And
would you go as far as to say that it bops?
It thumps, dude.
Oh,
so I'm listening to that song, and I was like, dude, this sounds so familiar. I know this band. Is someone that I listen to, but I couldn't quite place it. And then when it drops down and he's doing that kind of whispery part, I was like, holy this is Taking Back Sunday. And it is, for being a pop song, I think they really executed it well. Really, really good.
Yeah, that's the only song I know post Louder Now.
And that album didn't do very well at all. That had 27,000 sales compared to 667,000 of Where You Want to Be, 674 of Louder Now.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we talked during the Blink-182 episode, we talked a little bit about Plus 44 and things like that. Do we at least address that Brand New and Straight Light Run are products of this band?
I mean, Brand New is obviously good. I've never listened to Straight Light Run. The color.
They had the Existentialism on Prom Night, which I think is a song a lot of people had on their iPods.
Sure.
Don't push it. I mean, it was a song that people listen to.
The color.
You scoff like it's the worst thing that's ever happened, but it's basically no, it isn't by Plus 44. It's just another song we all know.
Okay. The Color Fred was okay, but it was just missing the star quality.
Music. Adam was like, you got to check it out. And I only listened to him when he said that to me half the time.
Yeah.
Because the suggestions were frequent and I just couldn't keep up. That's not to say the suggestions were bad. It's just I don't know if I want to dive. You and I are big fans of Blink, so we're have the patience to dive into both Angels and Airwaves and Plus 44 and even Boxcar Racer. But with this, it's I went and listened to Straight Light Run and you got into Brand New because of this band, but I'm not I don't know if it's a 3-deep side project band for me. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'd rather just listen to Where You Want to Be once more.
It's really a good album, man.
It's so good. It's so smooth. And it brings the thunder.
I think I really want to go back to, you said something about their lyrics being too poetic and obscure.
Do you know what I'm trying to say though with them in All Time Low? All of a sudden there was just this what the is happening? Like, what are they talking about?
I don't understand the all-time low comment, but there are Taking Back Sunday lyrics. One of the things that I like about them is at times you don't really know exactly what they're saying, but you feel the emotion that they're portraying. And I think that's really interesting. And it's something that as, I guess, former vocalist and lyricist of a band, I really was envious of how they could put together thoughts and emotions in those abstract ways, because I feel like I can only really write on the surface type shit, which is what I equate All Time Low as. So I don't really understand what you're saying, but I think that Take It Back Sunday is obscure, kind of random. It seems like they were kind of randomly generated, but you feel it. And I think that's so cool. It's just, I've always been envious of that writing style. I wish I could. I
don't know,
have a little more.
Okay, so in Dear Maria, Count Me In, it's just you be the showgirl of the home team and I'll be the narrator instead of just saying announce. I don't know. It's just there's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm the pen. I don't know. It's just super melodramatic.
But it makes sense. What they're saying. Yeah,
but I could see the knocks on the subgenre for those reasons. You know what I mean? Right. Just get dressed, don't do this. It's you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore, as Jack Black once said. So it's I could see where people were this is kind of dumb. It's yeah, I'll field that argument, but also I love it. So why don't you back off, pal?
So the line from Taking Back Sunday that I always get caught up on is from My Blue Heaven. And it's the chorus. It's all too familiar and it happens all the time. All the cards begin to stack up, twisting heartache into fine little pieces that avoid an awful crime. But it's you I can't deny. It's
Jesus.
What?
Yeah. You just picture them I don't know, scribbling in cursive on a napkin, an actual napkin for the sake of feeling like they're doing it in a dive bar, but computers totally fucking existed and they could have typed it. But and buying a quill pen to write it in, just fuck off. I don't know.
So are we both then team Where You Want to Be? Because I feel
you've convinced me.
I feel like I'm alone on that island. No one else agrees with me.
I'll swim over. Oh. It's better. It's their best work. If anybody hears this episode and says otherwise, then they're I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't.
You.
Don't send us that mail. Send us any other mail than that. But if you're going to write us and argue against Where You Want to Be being the best Taking Back Sunday album, you can suck an egg, quite frankly.
A man egg.
Ooh, what? Not even. Anyway, what? Like a man egg?
It's when you take a hard-boiled egg and you put it all in your mouth and you squeeze a little packet of mayonnaise and you just kind of swish it around.
I've never heard of that, but I love the visual. I really do.
It's from Arrested Development.
Oh,
she calls it a man egg.
Oh, egg! I didn't see it there.
Her? What, is she funny or something?
Yeah. Oh,
I was watching that before we recorded. So song of the week. We've been forgetting this. Let's give a song for this week. John. Is it just I'm Fred Astaire? Is that the homework?
Oh man, just listen to the second half of Where You Want to Be, everybody. But we'll do this right. We'll go through and do a favorite thing here. Let me look up my stuff.
I'll give one in the meantime. It's not Taking Back Sunday. It is a band called Bloodywood, and they call themselves Indian street metal. And I found them on some viral video on Facebook. They have a song called I'm not going to pronounce it. Jivari. It's really, really awesome. It's super heavy music with traditional Indian melodies and instruments mixed in. And the song is amazing. The video is pretty cool too. And it's just, it's a good song. It's about fighting depression and stuff. So it's a good message. And the music video addresses a lot of that at the end, where they're offering free therapy services, which is really cool. And it's really interesting to hear super heavy music with flutes and stuff in the background. So it's pretty cool. I've been enjoying them.
Excellent.
And they do a really awesome heavy cover of Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift, which Megan, my wife, says she likes more than the original.
Is it something that you should actively avoid, or is you just let it happen?
My wife?
You say I
can't help
seeing
it.
people on Twitter, it's they're like, it's bad is the gist, but it's still getting talked about. So it's like, is it part of the culture enough where you just like, do you just lean into it and say it? And I don't know.
Well, I've never seen Borat, so I just I don't know
Should
the
we
context.
do a Borat episode and really deconstruct the my wife thing?
Sure.
We'll do 40 minutes on my wife.
That sounds so dirty.
If you make that the episode title, I would be upset.
We'll do 40 minutes on.
Oh, God. Yeah. Respectful request not to have that be the show title. But okay, so what I've been listening to lately, this is not my recommendation. But I rediscovered Hot Heat, Middle of Nowhere, Running Out of Time, Good Night, things like that. I've also been, based on something I saw on Twitter, going back to the Miseducation of Miss Lauryn Hill and Doo-Wop, in parentheses, That Thing, is obviously a classic, something I've been enjoying lately. But my recommendation for a new song is I Might Need Security by Chance the Rapper. He released 4 new songs last week, and the artwork is like a more shape-based, colorful recreation of the Arthur fist-grabbing meme, and he samples someone singing F you. It's definitely quite an interesting little collection of sounds, and he does a good job, and I like Chance the Rapper, and yeah, that's how I feel this week is, so I Might Need Security by Chance the Rapper.
Awesome. Link to those in the show notes. Indeed. At Reminiscent Podcast /episode/86. Also, you can submit a digital fan
mailbag.
Question mailbag. Yeah, there you go. At reminiscentpodcast.com/ask. That'll get to us, and then Pat can reclaim his house from all the envelopes and mail that he's been receiving.
It's been a problem.
And we'll get back to that next week.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, for those who didn't hear last week, we're going to be shifting more towards music episodes. But as we, when we hit number 100, that'll definitely be a journal episode, and we'll do a little more journal stuff as my wedding comes up. And kind of for those of you who are going to listen from 0 to 100, which there are a few of you, which is shocking, but awesome.
Can't believe that.
We'll give you some more narrative, life journal discussion type stuff. We'll sprinkle that in as we creep ever more towards 100, which this is episode 87, 88?
86.
86. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so we got about 13 left to go. We'll sprinkle in some stuff. At some point, my wedding will occur in those episodes, God willing. And yeah, and then we'll make the transition into more music stuff or whatever you guys want to hear. So write us. And Tom, I love you very much. Thank you for being a good friend.
Love you too,
and,
man.
What a beautiful day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
All right.
Ooh, that was a good one. Let's end on that one. I like that one. All right. Bye, man.
Bye.